listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode 180. I am your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. For our opening question tonight, the question is, what was the best thing you watched, read, played, whatever from 2024? Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go first.
Joseph, what was the best thing you consumed?
I had two things. One was a audio media, and one was a playing media. So Dungeon Crawler Carl, if anyone has watched any of the shows that we have done in the last 4 months, I haven't shut up about it. And I, sometime in late October, I ended up 100%ing Elden Ring, and I see why I got so many Game of the Year awards. It was just a fantastic game to play through.
Nice. Chris, what was the best thing media-wise you consumed last year?
I read a lot of good books, but the best thing that came up to the top of my head media-wise was season 2 of Arcane. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Oh my God, that is a fantastic poll.
Yeah, we've been waiting years for it, and finally came out, and it was so good. So that's the best one.
Oh, that is a damn good poll. And Joseph, by the way, damn good poll on Dungeon Crawler Carl as well. Ray, what's the best thing you consumed last year?
So mine isn't anything man-made. Mine was the Total Eclipse.
Okay.
Absolutely,
that was pretty cool.
Fucking amazing, and really enjoyed it. It was cool to go and see it with the kids and Chris, and we drove down, and to see the Total Eclipse was pretty spectacular.
That was pretty cool. I forgot about that.
I did too. That's another damn good poll. Awesome. All right, Sean, what was your best thing from 2024?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Another good one.
So long for that one.
Yeah.
And, awesome. Loved it.
I at this point I wish I had something else to say, but my answer, I thought about it quite a bit today, but the thing I kept coming back to was Dungeon Crawler Carl. That was, of everything. I did forget about Arcane, but there were several good movies that came out last year. There were some fantastic TV shows. But yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl is what I probably spent most of my time with, was going through those books, and then I even did a second run through. And it was just it was so much fun doing it, even a second time. So,
as a quick aside, is everybody done?
Yeah.
No.
Book 6?
I just finished book 5. I haven't.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good deal.
Tried.
So tonight's topic, in traditional fashion, we've done this multiple years because we've been doing this show for multiple years. We're going to look ahead to 2025, and we're going to pick out the things that we are most excited about coming out in the current year. Sometime or another, we should do a show where we go back and look at our previous year's list and be like, yeah, these were the things I was most interested in. How did it stack up? Because I have a feeling there'd be some things be like, yeah, I thought that was going to be great, and no, that was a huge letdown.
We should definitely do that.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we'll make that our next episode. We'll see. So anyway, I tasked everyone in previous years. I was a little more like, hey, so many movies or so many TV. This year, I'm just like, screw it, whatever. Come up with your top 10 list, whatever it might be: movies, video games, TV, books, whatever media it is you're looking forward to for the coming year. With that said, since I just kind of went around the same way that's on the screen, I'm going to do it again. So Joseph, you're going to start us off. If you have a specific order in what you want to go through these, great. My list personally, I just picked 10 things. So I'm just going to start going through the list. And I'm sure some of the things I've picked are probably on y'all's list as well. But I'm in no particular order, my list. But if you have an order, go for it. So what's first thing on your list?
Do we want to do the all 10, or are we gonna go one at a time?
Let's go one at a time because I have a feeling some of us are going to have multiple things on there from other people's
So
list.
I did break up my list. I have books, TV shows, movies, and video games.
Fair enough.
But the way it's ordered, my book is the number one, regardless of all other things, and it's The Inevitable Ruin, or Dungeon Crawler Carl, book 7. That is, and we don't have to wait that long. It's less than now. So I'm really
11th of February.
That is the one book that's on my list. We were having a pre-show conversation. That was one of the things I said, that it's kind of hard with book lists. Sometimes you find book lists, and I mean, some publishers are really good about saying, hey, these are the following books coming out this year, and some publishers are more like, this is what's coming out this quarter, and in some cases stuff just shows up and just like, what? Okay. Unless you're like really into the fan group or whatever for said book series. So but yeah, The Inevitable Ruin is the only book that made it on my list. But yeah, it is on my top 10 of what I'm looking forward to this year. So Chris, what's your first one?
So my list is broken down to 5 books, 2 movies, and 3 TV shows. My first book is Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales, which is book number 3 of Emily Wilde's stories of fairies. And it's by Heather Fawcett. It's really cute. It's very, very detailed and very, very well researched. And the covers are gorgeous. They're so beautiful. And in the back of her second book, you're not quite sure if it's going to continue in a series sometimes. Like there's plans, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But this one at the back is like Emily Wilde's adventure continues in book number 3. So I was super happy about that. So this is the third one. And yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Nice. Something you would eventually suggest for the book club, or is this something you're just like, no, this is just for me?
This is just for me. I feel like it would be, its criticism is that nothing happens. Like it's kind of boring, but it's more of a cozy genre.
Okay.
Yeah. And that a lot happens, but it doesn't feel like high stakes kind of thing.
Fair enough. Ray, what's the first one on your list?
I gotta go. Well, so the first one's already stolen, which was Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Not stolen. We just agreed.
No, it's. So my next one I'm going to talk about is Superman, the new Superman movie. That definitely looks good. I'm really curious where they're going to take that.
He has a dog.
Crypto,
yeah.
Which is not that's not a great name. That's not a great name.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm really curious how they're going to make all this work, and the trailer hooked me immediately.
So I'm looking through here. I only have 2 movies on my list, and that was one of them. And after I was going through my list, and we'll talk about, there are some honorable mentions we'll hit here afterwards, but yeah, there's only 2 movies on my list, and neither one of them is a Marvel movie. It's a DC movie, and I was shocked that I did that. But I've looked at these other trailers, and I'm like, yeah, I'll probably go see it, because I think I've seen every Marvel movie in the theater, and I'm just like, that's kind of a fun thing. I'll go ahead and continue with that. But I genuinely am interested to see what he's doing, because this looks like a fun Superman movie, and I really want to watch a fun Superman movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was definitely on my list as well. Sean, what's the first thing on your list?
My list is in no particular order. I'm just grabbing them. So I had Superman and I had Dungeon Crawler Carl. What else? I'm thinking something that's coming up really soon. I really want to see the movie Love Hurts.
Okay.
And it's an action with what the hell's his name? Ke-Huy Quan.
Yeah.
From Goonies, or Loki if you're more recent and all that. But the trailers for it just make it look like such a fun movie, and it comes out on Valentine's Day, so that might be a date night movie. We'll see.
Nice.
But yeah, like most of my list is movies, because it was just easier to remember. But
Mhm.
yeah, and I think because I've seen the trailers, they keep popping up on like Amazon Prime and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I want to go see that. So yeah, that's
Yeah, it does look like a
like I
good
said,
movie.
no particular order, but yeah.
I'm so glad he's like has this second
He's
stage
coming
of his
back.
career. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's done some fantastic stuff. Like you said, I loved him in Loki. I did finally see um um everything everywhere all at once. And oh
I
my
still haven't seen
god,
that.
he was dude, it is so good. It
Yeah.
is such a
Good
good
movie.
So
movie.
good. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
And I have to agree, like what they did in that movie does make the last Doctor Strange movie look like, yeah, that was pretty pedestrian for being a multiverse type thing. Like
Yeah.
that thing was mind bending in some cases. Very good movie. Definitely worth all the praise. All right. So the first, I'll go ahead and do the other movie on my list. Because the rest of mine are not movies. And it's a movie none of you will know about. I'm going to be going to the premiere for a little indie movie called Festival Circuit that I'm going to be in. So my buddy Travis, who we're going to have on the creative show here in a couple of months, actually told me, I think he said Monday he's probably watching the first full edit of the movie, and then after that he'll go through and make additional edits. But he has finally finished the first full edit of the movie. I'm excited to see it anyway. I mean, it's a fun premise. Like he has been doing for the last 20 years of his life. He has done, I don't know, like 30 movies or 20 movies or something like that. He's done a lot of movies, a lot of indie movies. And a lot of them he's taken to these festivals. He's won multiple awards for his movies and stuff. And so this one he's poking fun at that. So literally we are seeing him in this movie. He's literally making movies within movies. So you're literally going to see this fake imaginary movie that he's created, and the movie's about him shopping it around at these festivals and seeing bits and pieces of other movies that supposedly other people have created. And so he's come up with some wild stuff. Like at one point he couldn't find one he could go to, but he had to get enough cosplayers from the Austin area to do what would have been a vampire festival or grouping or whatever that he would be showing this movie at. And so like it's funny because he's very good at his social media stuff. He posts a picture from it every single day saying, hey, it's coming out. And some of it I kind of look at and I'm like, okay, I get where this is. And some of the pictures he's posted, I'm just like, what the hell is this going to be? Like this, I can't wait. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. He's going to be able to do a little premiere there at the college he works at. And yes, there will be a premiere, and I'm sure I will be there. And we'll probably take Christy and the boys because they'll get to see their old man Ghost Taco. So it's going to be interesting. Anyway, so yeah, that is on my list. I could not forget that. I was just like, nope, I'm really looking forward to that this coming year. So, Joseph, what's your next one? Oh, you're muted still.
Sorry about that.
No
my
problem.
next one jumps into the TV show category, and Daredevil: Born Again is something I'm looking forward to this year. I've been missing a really good Marvel show, and I'm hoping this one kind of gets me back on track there. It looks brutal.
Yes, it's same. It looks fantastic. I have not watched the last 3, maybe 4 Marvel series. Most of them I've heard you can skip. I have been told I do need to watch Agatha All Along because apparently it was really good.
It was good.
But yeah, the last several have just not. A lot of people are just like, it's either meh to don't bother. But this looks fantastic. Now it's got some big shoes to live up to because the freaking Daredevil series that was on Netflix was also fantastic. And I'm glad they grabbed Charlie Cox and what's his name to come back to play the Kingpin.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio, yeah.
Yeah.
apparently they called them like within minutes of each other, telling them that this was happening, and they immediately called each other and were excited because apparently they bonded and became friends, and so they were so excited that both of them were coming back. So, but yeah, I'm like you, Joseph. This was one of the things that made my list. I was just like, oh no! As soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, oh, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be good. So, I think Ray's comment on it was looks really good, not for Chris.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
So,
No,
But I'm happy that you love it.
absolutely, and thank you for that.
too brutal. It's going to be way
Yeah.
too brutal.
So, yeah. No, thank you.
Speaking of which, Chris, what's the next one on your list?
So I also did have book 7 of Dungeon Crawler Carl. I really do like it. I think a lot for me has to do with the narration. So
Mhm.
check those. Also, though, is a book called Faithbreaker, which is book number 3 of the Fallen God series by Hannah Kaner. Her first one was God Killer, and the second one was Sunbringer. And it's a really good fantasy series, and it's very high adventure. Not lots of POVs, but there's 4, I think, at this point, 4 or 5. Just a really interesting take on gods and magic and just monarchies and all that kind of stuff. So it's really neat. So the third one comes out at some point this year. I don't know when, but I'm going to read it,
Okay, cool.
and I hope I like it. Which
I
probably
hope
will.
you do too.
Thank you.
Ray, what's your next one?
So I'm going to dip into Amazon Prime on this one because there's a series on there that I can't wait for because I think it's going to be freaking hilarious, and that's Spider-Man Noir. Nick Cage.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that.
Nick Cage as Spider-Man coming back. I think they're going to do it justice. I'm hoping the whole thing is black and white. It better be.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to
better.
be.
It's right in the title.
Yeah, well, you never know. Sometimes they make bad choices. So
Yeah, that's true.
oh yeah, I got to see Nick Cage as an unhinged Spider-Man.
I loved that character in the 2 animated Spider-Man movies. So yeah, and what's funny is I looked at a couple of different lists, and that was not on any of them that I saw. Otherwise, it would have definitely made my list. So good pull on that. All right, Sean, what's your next one?
I'm gonna go with Captain America: Brave New World. Like,
Okay.
I am a huge Marvel fan. It does look like friggin' the Galactic Senate a little bit in some of the friggin' trailers, so I'm a little concerned about that. But Harrison Ford is the red fucking Hulk.
Yeah,
That's like in a lot of trailers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Seeing the leader, like bringing back the leader from the
Mhm.
Incredible Hulk, finally.
Yeah, no shit.
Hulk was bad for like the throwaways. Like they brought back the Abomination and She-Hulk. Now She-Hulk was kind of a shitty series, but
Yeah.
they did the Abomination right in that. So
Yes, they did. Yep.
No, I'm hoping it's a lot better than what they've released in the trailers. The trailers make it look like it almost looks like a Secret Wars. Now you probably haven't.
Mhm.
That's one of the ones that you could pretty well skip on Disney.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Yeah, like such a waste of a cast. The tone of the whole series was stupid. And
Yeah.
I'm really worried that they're going to do that to this Captain America. But
Well, there's been
freaking
so many
awesome.
reshoots. That's what's making me worried. Is there's been so many reshoots.
Yeah. See, they missed the point with the Nick Fury series there because that one
changed
there.
Nick Fury.
Well,
His
the
whole tone
point
was different.
Well, there's that too, but the other part is you have a species where you don't know who's who. You don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
And you everybody knows who like that just so missed the point of that whole series. But anyway,
Ryan's my corn.
It does.
So yeah, Captain America: Brave New World. Actually, I was wrong. That one comes out on Valentine's Day. Love Hurts actually comes out on a week before. But
Okay.
I don't know, maybe double feature for Valentine's Day.
There you go. Captain America is on my honorable mentions. It's one of those ones that I was like, yeah, I'll probably go see this. And then, like I said, when I got to 10, I was like, like I said,
I hope it's
the
Marvel.
big thing
we
is
go for every one of them. So
right. And like I said, I'm sure I will probably go, but like I said, there's other things that I was a little more excited about. So, my next one, is the only thing in the video game genre, as it were, and it's not technically a game. They announced the Switch 2, and it's not that I play a lot of video games, but my God, I when I am playing games, if I'm playing something newer, that's what I'm going to right now. It's just so much fun.
It's not just the Switch 2. The subtle hints at Mario Kart 9 and
Oh yeah,
24 kart circuits.
that yeah.
that'll be
If
cool.
if I know there's a lot of speculation as to how powerful it's going to be, how much it's going to cost, and this, that, and the other. The fact that it's backwards compatible, I'm just like, should I go ahead and just go ahead and sell my Switch while it's worth something right now? No, I'll just hold on to it as a backup. But I'm just like, at least because Nintendo is so weird about some of the shit that they decide to do. And the fact that they're just out and out just saying, yes, it's backwards compatible. That right there bought them so much goodwill. Because if they had not announced that right up front, a lot of people were just gonna be like, well, I'm gonna have to buy all the games. If they come out and say, hey, you can use the old controllers as well, at that point, it's almost a no-brainer. It doesn't even really matter what the cost is. It's almost a no-brainer at that point, but we'll see.
It worked for Xbox.
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
Making
it worked for
everything backwards compatible, the controllers too. It was great.
Yeah. So, all right. So that was my next one. What's your next one, Joseph?
Well, technically, did come out in 2025, but yesterday episode 3 was released. But it's season 2 of an anime called Solo Leveling. I know there aren't a lot of anime people that are on this show, but it is, the basic premise is there are one day these portals open up in middle of Tokyo, and there's these dungeon monsters that come out of it. Conventional human weapons do not work on them, so some humans start awakening and they have magic and blah blah blah. And the main character and their characters are ranked based on the amount of magic power they have, and the main character in here goes through this horrible death essentially. And there's some background to it where there's a game master that is causing all of this, and he gave the main character essentially a backdoor or the player codes, so he can level up and he can see inventory items, and he can see health and hit points on the monsters, and other hunters, as they call them in the show, can't. And just, it is really well written. It is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, manhwas, which is South Korean, not technically Japanese, or not Japanese at all, to have come out in recent memory, and it's fantastic.
What's it on?
You can watch it on, Crunchyroll for sure. I think you might be able to watch it on Hulu.
Okay. It's called Solo Leveling.
Solo Leveling.
Okay, cool. Chris, what's your next one?
A book called Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. She was one who did A Darker Shade of Magic. She also wrote one that was popular a couple years ago called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which I've also read. It was not as life-changing as everybody made it seem, but it was good. So this one's it takes place over 3 distinct times. So Santo Domingo de la, 1532, London 1837, and Boston 2019. So it's 3 young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling their roots. One goes high, one grows deep, one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. I like V.E. Schwab. I like the way she writes. So I have the second Darker Shade of Magic book upstairs that's next on my thing to read. So yeah, just, it doesn't come out till June.
Okay.
But yeah, just seeing what she comes up with. I do like time jumps. Yeah. So
good deal.
That one.
let me know, even if we don't end up doing it on the book show, let me know what you think of the second book of Darker Shade of Magic. So, because I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite book that we read last year, but I enjoyed it. So,
Yeah, I'll let you know.
yeah. Ray, what's your next one?
I got to go with Fantastic Four. I am looking forward to it. I'm glad that they haven't really released a lot of stuff about it yet. I know we'll probably get Super Bowl is likely when we're going to get the trailer, is my guess.
Actually, I'm hearing it might not be. I think it's going to be a week or two afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm fine with them releasing very little about it out and just enough to get you interested and then go to the movie, right? Like that's what I'm in for. So the concepts look interesting. I'm really interested how they're going to tie it into the rest of the universe. And this is kind of the first movie stepping into, the next chapter of like what they could be. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it was also on my list, and like I said, I was still shocked that there's actually three Marvel movies coming out this year. We're back to the old schedule, and all three of them did not make my top 10, which was odd. But yeah, it was. I'm actually more interested in this than I am Captain America.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
just because I want to say, oh God, please. I mean, I think they can do it, but please, can we get a good Fantastic Four movie? Like the best Fantastic Four movie ever released was The Incredibles. That was the best Fantastic Four movie we've ever got, because that's what we want to see. It's a family dealing with their powers, fighting among each other, but love each other. Like when I heard someone say that, I'm just like, my God, you're right. Like that. Like he did the movie. All you gotta do is just figure this out in live action. So, but all right, Sean, what's your next one?
Yeah, like Fantastic Four was on my list as well. I'm really curious to see how they do with that one. I'm gonna go with the book series, Flybot by Dennis E. Taylor. I have no idea what it's about. It's sitting in Audible right now, but it's Dennis E. fucking Taylor.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
so
you gotta tell me about it.
The latest is it's sitting in the Audible queue right now.
Okay.
So probably just waiting to be read, and then so that's probably it for Dennis this year because he's writing other stuff. But anything by Dennis Taylor. So that should be out, I would think, this year.
All right, yeah, you got. Let me know about it. Like you said, it's Dennis Taylor. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's not a question if I'm gonna enjoy it. So So and it's not a sequel to the other one he did, right? With the alien that lands with the.
So no, this one is its own book.
Its own thing.
He is. You're thinking Roadkill?
Roadkill, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like, because I was just on his website the other day. He is looking at like sequel for Roadkill, and what was the other one that the guy turned metal?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I was really Singularity.
Singularity, yeah.
Yeah.
There is possibly a sequel to Singularity. Bobaverse is whatever, ever expanding.
Yeah.
That almost made my 2024. It was kind of a toss.
Yeah, it almost made mine too.
Yeah. But yeah, I have absolutely no idea what Flybot's about. Don't care.
Yep. Fair enough. My last 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 left because the other ones have been covered. My last 5 are all TV series. That's what really kind of surprised me. Is I was just like, because I don't normally watch a lot of television. It's one of those things that's like, oh, I guess I can get an episode in here, but when am I going to get the next episode in? So I'm always kind of leery about trying to sit down and watch a show unless I can knock out a few of them at a time. But yeah, there's several shows that when I saw that they've got a sequel or something else coming out this year, I was just like, actually, all of these are sequels. And I'm just like, yeah, I've got to watch the next one. So I'll just start with the top one. It's already come out. Came out last week. I just haven't had a chance to start it. Severance season 2.
Hmm.
If you have watched the first season of Severance, it is a fantastic show. I really like the premise of it. They start getting into some kind of weird things, which I'm understand maybe it gets even weirder, which I'm okay. I'm still down for that ride. But just exploring this central idea of what would happen if you could cut your work brain from your day brain, from your home brain, away. And what would that look like? What would that do to you as a person? That by itself was enough to sell that show. And like I said, they've done really well with it, and then they've kind of expanded to go on to some other things. But the cast is fantastic. The acting's great. The artwork's great. It is a little slow, especially in the beginning, and the show itself does have some parts where it kind of picks up, but it is very much a suspense type show. So if you're not down for the suspense, you're probably not going to like it, but everyone I've talked to loved it. So yeah, Severance season 2. Joseph, what's your next one?
Well, I'm also in the same boat where I have 4 left based on what everybody has already said. My next movie is The Thunderbolts because I want to see more of the Red Guardian. I thought he was awesome.
Have you seen him in What If?
Yes.
That was good.
That was good. Yeah,
That was
really good.
That got me more excited for that movie.
Mhm.
And that's the trilogy of Marvel movies coming out this year.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We've got a new Captain America, we've got Thunderbolts, we got Fantastic Four coming out this next year, and like I said, I will probably go see all of them.
What I thought was interesting about them is they'll all be out by July.
Yeah,
There's nothing slated for the holiday season or anything.
No.
which let me go ahead and just do a plug here real quick. So with it seems like we're finally after COVID, we're finally back full steam into the movies. We are planning on doing the summer movie game again. So I was looking at it. Unfortunately, just because things are still moving around a little bit, I'm going to wait a little bit longer, another month or so, before I start putting that out there for people to start kind of getting their list together. We'll go through, we'll talk about how the game is played and everything. But we will put it out there. And now that I've got a Ghostbuster group that seems like they're really interested in the movies, I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few people in that group that are going to want to do it. So we may have a large contender pool, which is always fun. It's always fun every week to see people jockeying for position. So, but yeah, I will put the information out on that here in a month or so. So just be aware of that.
It's always that sleeper hit. That's like,
I know.
yeah.
None of us ever get.
That movie that comes in number 10 is the one that usually that is the one that decides the entire game. Because a lot of people can decide, because those number 1 and 10 are the ones that get the most points. Number 1's worth 13 points. Number 10's worth 13 points.
Yeah.
But if your movie just barely falls off, like literally you go from 13 points to I think 1, if it gets into the dark horse position, 10 points is more than enough to sink you. Like it just, because I think the maximum you can get is if you were to get every single one's 106 points. So 10 points, that is a huge hit to take. So, all right, Chris, what's your next one?
So this is the last one of my books.
Okay.
The Dream Harbor series by Laurie Gilmore. They're totally, it's like a Hallmark movie / Gilmore Girls with spice. So
I'm sorry, with spies?
Yes.
Okay.
They're really entertaining. They're quick reads. They're ridiculous. They're so cute. And the 4th and 5th one are coming out. My sister buys these. These are the only series that my sister and I actually mutually agree upon that are good and that we actually like reading together.
Mm-hmm. That's fun.
But like the first one's called the Pumpkin Spice Latte Cafe, and the second one's like the cinnamon roll bakery and like the Christmas tree shop, stuff like that. So it's like there's saccharine and stuff, but it's like they're classic romance novels, which I like, and it's very quick read. So 4th and 5th one are coming out, which my sister will buy, then I will borrow and give.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you said the 4th and 5th are coming out?
Yeah, I think the 4th one came out either because it's the Strawberry Patch Pancake House or something like that. and it's either it has just come out or it is coming out, and then the fifth book is coming out like later in the year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there's not a lot to them. I don't think she did a lot of research, which is totally fine for them. But it's very formulaic of a romance novel. But they're really good, and they're very entertaining. They're not like going to change your life, or like they're not meaningful, but they're very entertaining.
That's fun. They sound very much like Brain Candy, which
yes, very much so. It's a very good palate cleanser if you've read something really heavy and you need something just light and frivolous.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ray, what's your next one?
I'm going to dip into a horror movies franchise that I never thought I'd see again, or let alone watch again. And I know I'll be watching on my own, but 28 years later.
Oh, no. First one?
You watch
I'm interested.
I'm really watching this one.
Maybe not.
But 28 years later, it sounds, I'm in. Like, I did see the trailer, and I just love the premise of that. The 28 days, 28 weeks, and now 28 years. So,
yeah, I when I saw that, I was just like, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to go get away necessarily to go sit in the theater, but it will be viewed at some point. So, yeah, because I enjoyed those other two movies. It's funny. It's I don't normally like the fast zombie genre. Like, it really has to hit just right, and I liked those movies. I just liked the way that they were done. So. The fact that it's instantaneous, it's not like when is it going to turn? It's like, nope, you got blood. You're a psychopath now. So,
yeah.
So, Sean, what's your next one?
Let's see. I'll do a TV series. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds season 3.
Okay.
It'll be at some point 2025. And then we'll have season 4 shortly afterwards, which will be nice because there's been like a 2-3 year hiatus between the season 2 and season 3, which sucks. But the series itself, man, it is so good. It really captures the original series in Star Trek form with all updated graphics, but the story is good. Acting is phenomenal. It had the musical episode that, like,
oh yes, I've heard
fucking awards. Like, how the hell do you do a musical of Star Trek? Well, they found a way. It was so cool.
And did it really well, apparently.
It's on my Spotify playlist. It is so good.
If Bordis can sing in Orville.
Yeah. So, yeah, season 3 comes out at some point this year. Just not sure when yet. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Christy now has access to a Paramount Plus account, and I keep forgetting that. I need to just go down that rabbit hole. Like, well, I've got several other series I need to go back and rewatch or watch and everything else, and I'm just like, you know what? I need to just, and then I'll talk to you before I do it, because I'll be like, all right, what do I need to hit? Like, what do I need to go through? So,
yeah.
But yeah, I've heard good things about it. My next one is did anyone here watch Skeleton Crew?
I'm about an episode or 2 behind.
Uh-huh.
I'm not.
I've heard it's okay.
I want to strangle them.
I've heard it's okay. I've heard it's kind of fun.
Jude Law's good, but
oh yeah, I've heard he's good at it. Yeah.
I wish someone would kidnap him and fucking go get your like ice cream truck and drive by and do us all a favor. It's so bad. It is bad.
Well, speaking of Star Wars on TV, Andor season 2 comes out. I have heard, and I don't agree with this. Well, I'm okay. It's not me to. It's not my place to tell you what your opinion should be on Star Wars. I've heard people say Andor was the best Star Wars since Star Wars. And I'm like, I get that. If you're an adult and you want your Star Wars to be very, very adult, then yes, that was probably the best Star Wars ever to Star Wars. But I don't. Do what?
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars is so good.
Adult
but
kid
see,
doesn't matter.
and see, I like to be able to watch it with the boys. And so, yeah, I could watch the first season of Andor with the boys, but they would be bored. They would be bored, tearless. I, on the other hand, was just like, no, this is really good. I mean, it's a spy movie, in Star Wars. So I am interested to see where they're going to go with this because they have said, yeah, this is it because they're running out of room until we get to Rogue One. I have a feeling this is going to end up. I've already talked to people that were just like, I thought Rogue One was okay, and after they watched Andor, they're like, yeah, there's a lot more weight to Andor, and I'm just like, that's what I've been telling you about Clone Wars and Episode 3. Once you watch Clone Wars, Episode 3 is a fucking phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so I'm really excited for Andor season 2 when that comes out. So, yeah, Joseph, what's your next one?
This is my last movie, and it's more about. I'm excited to see the franchise back than I am about the actual movie. I hope it's great, but if it's not, I'm okay where parts 1 and 2 ended. But Tron Ares comes out in October.
That's on my list.
It's on my. It is on my honorable mentions, and the only reason it didn't fully. So I rewatched Tron with the boys, and they kept asking a bunch of questions about the movie. Of course, they laughed and giggled about how it looked, special effects wise, especially when we get to Master Control. And then we watched the second one. They're like, "Dad, I really liked that. That looked really cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, they're supposedly making another one." So I'm very interested because it might be one of those things that they're like, "Hey, can we go to the theater and watch that with you?" Which I would normally be very excited about. Jared Leto's in it, and I'm like, seriously.
He can act. Like,
Yeah.
he got lambasted for Morbius. I like Morbius.
I liked it too. Thank you. I liked it.
It was okay.
Matt Smith was
Matt Smith was
no,
good.
it was a good movie. Like it got a lot of hate for no fucking
No,
reason.
it was vampires. Of course, it was good. Way better than Madam Web and that crazy.
Oh God, I want my money back from that one. Holy God.
Everyone wanted their money back from that one. So yeah. But no, I'm in the same boat. I'm interested to see what it is, and I'm trying not to be that guy because I've done that before. I've looked at a movie and I'm just like, really, y'all cast this person in there, and then watch it. I'm just like, I might be turned around. What's his face? What's his face that did Twilight movies? That did the most recent Batman movie?
Robert Pattinson.
He did a damn good job in that movie. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hate on the dude anymore. Like he did a damn good job. So I'm kind of hoping that's one of those things. The other problem is they also fucking cast him as Skeletor, and I'm like, really?
Wait, what?
Yes, they have announced the live-action He-Man movie, and Jared Leto has been cast as Skeletor.
Oh God, I thought you meant Robert Pattinson.
No. Actually, I would take Robert Pattinson as Skeletor at this point. Like I prefer him over Jared Leto. But
Jared Leto. Okay, you know what? Who else is going to pull out that outfit? Who else can pull that off? You tell me.
I don't know. Give me a minute. I'll think about it.
With those little
I think there's enough
purple shorts.
There's enough material and memes that they could just like copy and paste into the movie.
Yeah.
Those Skeletor memes are hilarious.
I love the Skeletor memes.
Yeah.
He has to keep every time he leaves until we meet again.
At least once, I'll have to give it some credit. So because the rest of the cast, I'm just like, this looks like it could be interesting. So
at some point, he has to you have to have a shot of his head and him you hear the zipper and then him looking down and just walking away, just totally misinterpreting the situation. Those it's so funny. Oh my
they
God.
are funny. They are funny.
There's a lot of those.
All right, so that one was yours, right, Joseph?
Yes.
All right, Chris, what's your next one?
So it's a movie. I don't know if this is real or not. I just went off a list, and it's just me being super hopeful. Constantine 2. I loved the first one so much. It's like a cult thing for me. I really like Keanu Reeves. There's very few movies where I don't like him, but that was like one of my favorites. And has said in interviews multiple times that he wants. That's the one character he would go back and play.
Yeah.
And really hoping that comes true. And that's not, I didn't get
I haven't seen it on an official release, but
no, I think it
could be.
Have a movie poster or anything like that. So
yeah.
I think they're saying maybe December, but
That still counts.
guessing
That's 2025. That still counts.
It still counts, yeah. So
I'm with you. It looks good.
Because I had no idea it was based on a comic book. I didn't realize that people were pissed that it was Keanu Reeves and not a blonde British dude. I personally didn't care. I watched the series too. Also didn't care it was a blonde British dude, not Keanu Reeves. I just really liked the story.
Yeah.
If you watch any of the DC animated stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so there was like this set of animated movies that came out from when Batman the animated series and that Justice League, and there was this whole set of movies, and then it ended with the Flashpoint paradox when that came out, and then it reset the DC universe. There was another set of movies, and then there was another Flashpoint that reset the DC universe, and we're in the third iteration of that. And as you watch all of those, you find out that while the Flash is causing all the paradoxes and resetting the universe, it's Constantine that is doing all the stuff in the background. So if what's his face, James Gunn is going to completely reboot the DC universe, it would make sense that Constantine is the reason why.
That'd be cool.
that would be cool. That would be a cut that I think a lot of people would be like, "Oh hell yeah, I'd like that."
Well, he's the guy to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Ray, what's your next one?
I'm trying to. You know what? I'm gonna go with the opening of Epic Universe down in Florida. The new theme park looks amazing. We've been following along the construction videos and everything. It opens this May, and it just looks fucking amazing. Dark Universe.
The model at the Epic Universe store in Florida.
Yeah, so we did see that, which is kind of cool. On our plane ride in, I did see the construction area, but I also saw 2 of the new hotels that we flew over, and I was able to spot those ones. Yeah, it was really cool. All 5, because there is a 5th, all 5 worlds that they're creating look awesome. I'm not as interested in Nintendo World because that's more for the kids. But the other 3, the other 4, they all look really great. So, yeah,
nice. Yeah, once that gets up and running and everything, I definitely want to go check it out. It looks looks awesome. And the boys, I've shown the boys a lot of the stuff, and they're just like, "Dad, this looks more interesting than Disney World." I'm like, "Yeah, it does."
That universe alone, man.
Yeah. Sean, what's your next one?
I'm gonna go with Jurassic World Rebirth.
Okay.
I love the Jurassic series from start to finish. I don't think I've had a bad movie. This one sounds like it's not a rehashing of the old stuff. They're kind of branching out. So, it looks good. July 2nd, summer blockbuster.
Yep.
Kind of will kick off the season, I think. So, it'll be good. Good popcorn movie.
Yep.
We're at dinner today.
Did I send on the back channel? Did I send the Mufasa popcorn bucket that I saw when I was getting the popcorn today? All right. If I didn't, I'll have to send it. So while I was at the movie theater, so while we're recording this, it's National Popcorn Day, and Cinemark allowed you to bring a container within reasonable size to the theater, and for $5 they would fill it up with popcorn. So of course, I love popcorn. I have 2 teenage boys that are eating me out of house and home, so this was a no-brainer. And while I was there, they had the Mufasa popcorn bucket sitting there, and I'm just like, that doesn't look like it's gonna hold a lot of popcorn, but that's kind of cool looking. So, like I said, if I didn't send it on the back channel, I have to send that. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, all right. I'm actually down to 3 at this point because most of them have been taken. But so my last 3, like I said, they're all TV series. The Last of Us Season 2. I never played the Last of Us games, so I mean, I'd heard, because it's such a good series. I've heard things about it. But I enjoyed this series from beginning to end. I thought it was fantastic. I think the acting, they picked the perfect people for it. I know some people are like, well, it was kind of an interesting take on Ellie or an interesting take on him. But I loved it. I loved that series. It was one of the few things that every single week I was watching. Like I was like, oh no, new episode's out tonight. That's what I'm doing tonight is I'm sitting down to watch that. So yeah, I cannot wait for the second season of The Last of Us to hit.
I am very curious how people are going to react if it's true to the game.
I don't know what happens. I know some stuff happens. And so, yeah,
I
that's
won't
what
spoil it for you, but if it's true to the game, I'm curious how people will react.
and I've heard other people say the same thing. Literally, they phrased it the same way. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but if it stays true to the game, I wonder how people are going to react. And I'm just like, okay. So, all right, Joseph. You got any more left on your list?
I have 2 left, and in the spirit of games, they're both video games.
Okay, go ahead.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is getting a PlayStation release this spring. I've heard great things about it. It looks good on Xbox, but not enough for me to want to buy an Xbox. But if it's going to be on PlayStation, why not?
Absolutely, yeah, hell yeah. So I've heard good things about it. I've seen some video on it and everything. The boys have even mentioned it at one point. I'm just like, yeah, we still need to get around and watch the rest of the Indiana Jones movie. So, in fact, maybe I should put those up on it. So this last weekend, I gave the boys the option of Batman. I'm really trying to get them to watch Batman 89. They keep picking the other choices, but I really want to watch Batman 89. But I gave them Batman 89 because I said, what do we want to watch? They said, let's do action. I said, Batman 89, Top Gun, or Speed. And we had to do a coin flip. Top Gun won. We watched it. Both of the boys enjoyed it. Nick enjoyed it so much. He and I sat down and watched Top Gun Maverick immediately afterwards. And he really enjoyed that as well. I just love the fact whenever we hit a movie and they go, hey, are there any sequels? I'm just like, yes, yes, I knocked this out of the park. And then last night we watched Speed, and I think Alex enjoyed it more than Nick, but they both thought it was a fun movie. So, and then I showed them, they're like, well, there any sequels? And I'm just like, yes, but we're not watching it. And they're like, can we see the trailer? I showed it to them. They're just like, that doesn't look good. I'm like, yeah, I thought so too back in 1990, whatever it was.
That was horrible.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it. I thought about it. I've never actually seen Speed 2. So
yeah. I only watched it because I had a big crush on Sandra Bullock. But
same. And I even told him that. I was like, guys, you're probably gonna think this is gross, but your dad had a huge crush growing up on Sandra Bullock growing up. So but anyway. Chris, what's your next one?
Another movie, again, I saw it off a list. I'm hoping it's real. I don't know. Sherlock Holmes 3.
I didn't say a release date, but I've heard the same thing.
Yeah. I watched the first one as we were flying home last week, and I like Guy Ritchie's style, but for whatever reason, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law together, they're just like a really good match.
Yes, they are.
So that would be cool because both movies are really good, and
yes.
I just really like Sherlock Holmes stuff. So
yeah, totally agree. Like if they fully announce another one's coming out, I'll be like, nope, I'll be at the theater for that one.
Yep.
So, Ray.
Sorry, I might have repeated some of these here.
No, you're good.
Okay. I'm curious how Sean what his opinion is. It looked interesting to me anyway. So Star Trek Section 31 looked
on my
interesting.
list.
Yeah, it looks interesting. The cast looks really good. It looks like the seedier side of Star Trek, which that's cool. So
is this the one I heard about that? Like this is like the group of from Star Trek that like when Black Ops type shit needs to happen, this is who they send. Is that what I heard? Okay.
Yeah. So this is led by Michelle Yeoh, who started in Star Trek Discovery, and then this is her like parallel Earth version. It's actually Empress Yeoh, but she gets pulled into our universe, but she's like dark and all that. Section 31 is Section 31 of the Federation Charter, which basically protect at all costs. So they have an open blank check to do anything they want and cover their tracks. So they were as soon as a federation was created, they were there. So they are the dark op group of Federation to protect it at all costs. So she gets recruited in. This was originally supposed to be a TV series, and then they turned it into a TV movie.
Yeah.
And it gets released next week.
Oh, is this
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, on the 24th. So yeah, that's on my list. I'm like,
Yeah.
can't wait to see it. Because they, as much as because I didn't care for Discovery, and that's where she kind of got her start on.
Yeah.
Technology wise and like quality of production has been really high. So like, okay, this could be really good. So, but yeah, January 24th for that one.
Cool.
Nice. All right, Sean, what's your next one?
Since Ray took that one, I'm gonna go with Avatar: Fire and Ash. So that's December, third Avatar movie. Even though like it was so long between the first and the second one, which was just stupid Cameron. This one's been a little less time, but still pretty long. But the movies have been great. Like the first one was out of this park. Second one did a really good job, and you could tell it's like I'm really expanding this universe, so I'm curious to see where we're going with this one. So
Okay. Yep, I did see the official date on that. You're right; it is December. So, and I think hasn't he released all of them at December? I think that's kind of his thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Pretty much everything's been like December 18th and 19th. So this is on the 19th again. So just in time for Christmas.
Yep. I have two more left. They're both TV series. I am shocked, mind you, that no one else has pulled these, especially because I'm probably going to pull one directly from Chris, and that is Wednesday, season 2.
I forgot about Wednesday.
Saw it on the list. I was like, nope, that goes on the top 10 because I adored what they did in the first season.
Wednesday. I totally forgot about Wednesday.
Cannot wait.
Oh.
I loved her. She's become one of those characters that people really like. And what's her name? Jenna Ortega. Like, I'm just like, sure, whatever you want to do, lady, just keep doing it. Especially if you're doing the dark broody thing, you've got it down. I'm because I really enjoyed Beetlejuice, and I'm just like, I think I saw an interview or something, and someone asked why it was taking so long for them to have done the movie, and someone said we were waiting for her to show up, and of course it just kind of like blew her away.
She
was, but
said that.
Yeah,
she was actually at an interview, and it was like because we're waiting for
her to, which I love the characters that she plays, but yes, I love what they did with that universe when you come to the realization of how you get into the secret area is the double snap. I was just like, okay, I'm in 100%. I'm in. I love what you've done with this idea for your version of the universe. So,
it's actually one thing. So when we were at Universal Studios, Chris did get to see the Beetlejuice character.
He was just standing there, and I'm like, I gotta go say hi,
which is pretty cool. But now that I'm looking back, how they don't have a Wednesday walking around, that boggles my mind. Yeah,
that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially now, like that would have hit really well. So but
anyway.
All right. Joseph, you said you've got one more, right?
I've got one left.
All right, cool.
My last video game doesn't have a release date other than sometime later this year, but Marvel 1943, The Rise of Hydra. So you're playing as Captain America during World War II, and you interact with is it T'Challa's father, the first Black Panther, or the previous Black Panther, and it's set in that time frame. So it's a World War II video game where you play as Captain America.
Yeah.
Is it first person, third person?
Third, I think.
Third person.
Okay, cool.
So you can play it.
Yes, I can.
Nice. That sounds interesting. I have a feeling eventually it'll show up on the boys' radar, and they'll probably bring it to my attention. So I may have to act surprised then, be like, "Oh no, I hadn't heard of that." So, all right, Chris, how many more do you have?
2.
2. All right,
And they're TV shows. So the first one is Stranger Things season 5. More because
that's my
I
last
just
one.
want it to be done. I want it to be done. It needs to wrap it up. I think the Duffer Brothers had always planned for like 4 or 5 seasons or something like that. But these kids are old now. Like Millie Bobby Brown is married. Like she's 21 or something like that now. These kids are old.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how they
It's time.
the time jump, because there has to be a time jump, because the last season I think 11 was supposed to be 14, and there's no way that nobody can play like a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old anymore. She just her face has matured too much. And same with the other kids. Like I think like the only one who could still play a teenager is Gaten Matarazzo, and that's just because he has a baby face. He's the only one who can pull it off. Everybody else, it's not believable. So I just want to see how they wrap things up, how it ends, how much I'm going to cry, which is probably going to happen.
Are you thinking about doing a rewatch to lead up to it?
No, they always do a recap.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll watch the recap. This is one of the series where I haven't wanted to go back and watch it. I think because it was just that emotional and like that intense that I don't have a desire to go back and experience that again.
I'll likely do a rewatch.
Yeah.
Well, according to Donut, remember things went off the cliff whenever Barb died. So that was like halfway through season 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was.
I just thought that was hilarious that she kept saying, "Oh well, it went off the cliff after Barb died." And I'm just like, that was a long time ago. So,
I thought she said Bob.
I thought she said Bob too, but no, Barb.
It was Barb.
It was Barb.
Yeah. All right, Ray.
So I did think of a third one. I'll leave that for my picks. So I've got 2 left.
Okay, go ahead.
Both or just the one?
Go ahead and hit both of them at this point.
All right. So Karate Kid Legends.
Okay.
That trailer makes me want to go watch the series because I haven't watched the series yet.
Okay.
So that trailer, I don't know, it looked kind of fun. And it's kind of an interesting way to do it. And then the other one is it's a game. So the makers of It Takes Two has come out with another co-op game that you can only play as co-op. And it's called Split Fiction. And it looks like 2 people that are stuck in like a virtual reality type thing. And they're trying to figure out their way through it. So I'm hoping that it's an online co-op. That'd be really nice. The other one, I think, was only console, like only couch co-op. But I don't know. It was a good time. Like It Takes Two was kind of fun to rip through with Quinn, and we'll see where this one goes.
Nice, very cool. Sean, you have anyone's left on your official 10?
Yeah, I've got a couple left. I'll just do them both. First one is the Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. Oh my god, I love those movies. So
you too.
I'm so curious to see how Liam Neeson does Frank Drebin.
As soon as they announced that because when I heard they were doing another one, I was like, oh, I don't know. But then when they said him, I was just like,
oh my god,
I can see it. Yes, I think he's going to knock it out of the park.
Because he's a perfect straight man.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah. So, especially after cementing himself as what are those movies? The Taken movies. After the Taken movies,
I'm thinking more A Million Ways to Die in the West with it's so good. Anyway, Naked Gun, and the other one. Hopefully, this is unofficial, but hopefully, Book 9 of Fred the Vampire Accountant series.
Oh, okay.
I'm really hoping there's a Book 9 that comes out this year. So I absolutely adore that series. Patrick and I listened to the first few stories of Book 2 when I took him to the train station back a couple of weeks ago. I asked him, well, do you want to listen to something and all that? I got more Fred the Vampire. Oh, yeah, we got to listen to that. I said, all right.
Nice.
So,
Isn't it awesome when you find something that the kids like? That's
Yeah.
there's certain things you're like, okay, it's Star Wars. Everyone fucking likes Star Wars, or whatever it is. But when you find something like that, and they're just like, oh no, can I get a little more of that? You're just like, yes. So
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we listened like 7 hours of it when I took him to Ottawa the first time.
nice.
Let's just keep listening. All right, cool.
Fantastic. My top 10 is actually out. So I'm going to just go ahead and throw out the two honorable mentions that I had on there. Oddly enough, there are also TV series. One, like I said, I was so surprised how many TV series made it on my list. And those are The Bear season 4. Christy and I sat down and watched The Bear season 3. I do not understand how people say this is a comedy. There
Yeah,
are humorous
that.
there are some humorous moments to it, but this is a drama, and this is one of the few dramas I actually care about. I do care about these characters. Some of them I'm not a violent person, but I would beat the shit out of some of these people and just be like, "Will you fucking talk to everyone? Don't cuss, talk. Whatever's in your brain, whatever's going on here, just say it." Because it would solve so many issues.
Watch that then.
That's called the miscommunication trope, and I hate it.
So, but it is actually a really good series. So that was one of the one, and the other one is supposedly this is not 100%, and it's only going to be 6 episodes, but we might be getting a season 7 of Black Mirror. I love Black Mirror. The last couple of seasons were okay. There are some episodes. It's funny. One of the ones that really freaked me out was the episode with the robot dogs that were going around like hunting people down. Scary as shit. And then I talked to my buddy who actually worked at Boston Dynamics, and he completely broke it down. It's just like he's like, that entire episode is the most moronic thing I've ever seen. I'm just like, oh, okay. It's kind of like whenever I watch hacking on a movie or TV show, I just like cover my eyes. I'm just like, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. But I love that show. There's some really good thought-provoking things that happen in that show. And I can't wait to see kind of what they've done, because they've expanded it to, originally it was like more so focused on like your phone, because that's the Black Mirror, and they've expanded it to other media technology, that type of thing. It is like a modern technical version of the Twilight Zone is kind of what it is. And I loved it. I loved it. And if there's a season 7 heading this year, I will eat it up with a spoon. So, Joseph, did you have anything else that you wanted to throw out there as an honorable mention?
No.
All right. Chris, any honorable mentions you want to throw out?
Well, I did have one more on my list. It's called
Okay.
Exo Kitty season 2, which is on Netflix, and this is a spinoff of To All the Boys I Loved Before, those 3 movies, which were based on books. It's brain candy. It's entertaining, a palate cleanser. It's about this girl who goes off to school in South Korea, and so that whole culture, which is kind of neat and interesting. So yeah, that's
cool. Ray, did you have any honorable mentions you want to throw out?
I'll mention it during my picks and pans.
Oh, okay. Sean, anything else?
No, I don't think so. I was thinking Mickey 17, but I'd read the book and it wasn't really that good. So yeah,
maybe it'll be one of those rare.
I remember you guys were talking about Robert Pattinson, and
fair enough.
What I kind of thought about it.
I was gonna say maybe it's gonna be one of those rare instances where the movie is better than the book.
I've seen the trailers, and it's not on my movie pick list. So
fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our picks and or pans. Joseph, you want to start us off? Just keep the train going.
Yeah. I have 2 picks. I recently started Squid Game season 2.
Okay.
I like how the series has started. I'm only a couple episodes in so far. I used the opportunity that was presented to me on Friday when Elaine and Christy went up into the mountains to kind of watch that, because that is a show that Elaine will not watch with me, and that's okay. That is okay. The other pick is more of a thing I did. I have found myself wanting to read more and more. So the Audible subscription where it's 2 credits instead of 1 is like $6 more. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And so this is gonna be the year that
Right there.
yeah, that I read more. I have a goal of 24 books. And I think that's obtainable, considering
Cool.
I did at least one a month last year. So, the thing is that it's 24 books that's going to be outside of the re-listen to 1 through 7 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, because I will do that as well.
Oh, dude, like I was so shocked at my Audible recap that I sent everybody. Because yeah, like I actually, it's funny, there were certain series like the Fred the Vampire series that a lot of those I did not have to pay for. I got for free. And so I went well above that 24 number. Which is nice. Sometimes you find a series, especially one of those series that's free, at least for a little bit, and you're just like, oh nope, gonna keep hitting all these real quick. So but yeah, I literally cut back to 1 credit and I didn't even last a month. I was like, nope, I've got to have another book. I've got to have another book. So Chris, you have a pick or pan for us?
Yes. So my picks are, so I don't know if you guys remember that I'm doing my walking challenge to Mordor.
Yeah.
Yes.
My first chunk of the Shire back in November. What?
Before you go there, we were 20 miles behind.
Oh, wait, no, I'll get
Okay,
there.
all
I'll
right.
get there.
Sorry.
Anyway, it's broken up into 5 different chunks. The first chunk is the Shire, and it was like 194 miles. My walking pad works in miles. I can't convert it to kilometers. Anyways, so I'm working in miles for this one. So after each leg is finished, and this is why it costs so much to do this, you get a medal. And I'm like, cool, okay. So because I finished it at the end of November, I sort of forgot that the medal was coming. And then when we got back from our vacation, my mother-in-law was like, I think you got a book. I'm like, I didn't order a book. I'm like, oh, my medal. So it comes in this really cool box, the Shire Virtual Challenge.
Okay.
Nice box. Open it up. Very lovely. Ooh, look. Oh, very lovely packaging. We got a little Sean and Elijah. And then the medal, it was heavy. It's substantial. This thing's made out of enamel. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
See it, but there it is. It says, keep it secret, keep it safe. And it's a little thing. It's got the door on the other side. You can hear it rattling around because this opens. And there's the ring. But wait, the ring comes out.
That is awesome.
It's got the Elvish on it and everything. I'm like, please let it through my finger. Please let my finger. And it does. And I'm so happy. So I know the last medal that you get, the one from Mordor, it fits back into the slot.
Uh-huh.
So you can, it's like a whole symbolic thing. Anyways, so I have the one ring.
That is awesome.
So that was pretty cool when that showed up. And then I have decided, this is you're finding out about this too. I am going to go on a book buying ban, minus the ones I talked about, for this year because I have an overwhelming amount of books that have not been read.
I am not partaking in this book.
No, he's not. Most of the books in this house are mine, and I have read them. But it's getting to an overwhelming amount now where I'm like, it's going to take me a year just to catch up at the rate I read books. So I have to do that. But it's a good thing because I get to catch up instead of just adding more and more to the pile and then forgetting about series and forget it anyway. So that's one. And then the other one, which is on both of our lists, is recommended by my dad, oddly enough. It's a show called Resident Alien.
Oh, I haven't started it yet.
So
season 3 is coming out.
Yes.
And that almost made my top 10
yes.
list.
So we just started watching it. We're still in the first season. I think we're on like episode 7 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's what I've heard.
Funny. And I love it. And I had to text my dad. I'm like, Dad, this is like really great. He recommends also, he's a boomer. He's 66 years old. So when you recommend something, you're like, okay. Dad.
But it was Alan Tudyk, and we're like, okay.
So yeah, and we really like it. And Quinn's watching it with us too. So
nice.
So that's something too. But it's so funny and weird and quirky. And I love the opening credits because it's like that.
It's a little different each
it's
time.
a little different each time of what you're not. This is what you're supposed to use. Don't do this.
The urinal was hilarious.
Yeah.
Don't stand behind the
Don't
guy that's
stand.
standing at the urinal.
Just like 2 seconds, right? Look at the snippet. So we're really liking that one. And then my pans are post vacation illness. Somebody's got the plague. I had a headache for like 2 days when we got home.
Yeah.
We were also really tired because we didn't sleep very well at the resort, just because it's not.
Wasn't the resort's fault. It was
Yeah,
us.
it was us. It was us. We just didn't sleep very well. So we were very tired. We had sleep hangovers. Also at the parks, the other pet peeve is people not knowing how to queue, or people just not thinking it applies to them. And big groups of people not realizing that the queue applies to them too. And then also people just deciding while they're walking to just stop, not go off to the side like you would in traffic, like pulling up. No, right in the middle. And so you have to like start, stop, and go around them. Or there's like 12 of them and they're right in the middle. And you're like, what are you doing? This is a bridge, people. It's like you just finish walking the bridge and then talk about what you need to talk about. Don't
go to the side.
Go to the side.
Yep.
Every day.
Yeah.
I did yell at a kid. Not yell. I raised my voice. And he touched me. First of all, please don't do that. We were standing in line at a Harry Potter store. I was getting a sweater. There were robes right beside me. This kid pushes himself onto me looking at the robes. I turn around and I'm like, do you need help with something? And he's just like, no. I'm like, are you sure? And then he backed off. Because he was touching. He was in my face. Oh, and it was a kid. He was like maybe 18. Anyway, but he was touching me.
Anyway.
And I got snarky with him. And the influencer who was walking around in a squeaky pink leather skirt standing in front of everything with a guy taking pictures of her.
And getting angry at other people that are trying to.
I could have snapped her in half. She's lucky I didn't.
She shouldn't have been there.
It shouldn't have been. It was
the busiest.
Too busy.
It was. You don't do that on a Saturday. Do not go influencing on a fucking Saturday.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fair enough. Ray, you have a pick or pan for us?
So I'll continue with the pan, sick, obviously. And then the other pan was talking about queuing. For some reason, on Saturday, everybody just decided that the rules don't apply to them when going for lunch.
The whole vibe was off at the park. It was like everybody turned on jerk mode.
So I felt horrible for the people. So I really wanted to try out Cletus's chicken, the chicken shack inside of Moe's Tavern. I was like, hey, I didn't try it last time. I might as well try it this time. So I walk in and I see where the queue is. So I go start heading there. And there's this guy in a wheelchair who's obviously staff saying, please come this way. This is the line to go to these shops. And then people were bypassing him, ignoring him, and going to another area where there was very clearly a land, like a thing across to prevent people walking. And the woman standing there saying, please, this is not the line. The line is over there. And they were ignoring her and just passing through and going to whatever line they wanted. And it was like, I walked out. I was like, okay. So I checked my mobile, mobile order instead, and it wasn't working. I'm like, fuck it, I'm out. And so we went and Chris was already in line to get tacos from the Bumblebee taco truck.
Yeah.
So we got that instead, and I'm like, no.
He came out and his
I was angry.
Jaw was clenched, and he was doing his angry walk, and I was like, what happened? I mean, yeah.
I was angry for the people that were trying to
just trying
those
to
employees were just trying to do their job, and to be disrespected like that, it's like, you know what, fuck all you. So I've learned that I will not go to the parks on a Saturday.
No, make this grumpy.
So anyway, and then the pick is that the trip was really good, and I'm looking forward to season 3 of Resident Evil Alien when we get there, because we're
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sean, you got pick or pan for us?
Last weekend I turned 46, and
yay!
We did. That was more the pan. But we got, my buddies and I got together. That's like the first time in like all 4 of us got together in like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a guys' weekend, and it was just so good to like be with them. Nice. Like, these are the guys that, a couple of them, one of them I started with kindergarten with, and grade 4, and then university. Like, they were two best men in my wedding and stuff like that, and the MC. Like, but it had been so long since all four of us had been together, so it was really good. And then the pan after that was after that weekend, I had to go back to work after like a month off, and that was like fucking brutal. So yeah. Couldn't remember my password. I was like, oh, it was horrible.
I get to forget it.
Absolutely horrible. So anyway, yeah, that's my pick and pan.
Nice. Yeah. Now that I think about it, I could have, when we were doing our initial best things of 2024, just to round it out instead of going back to Carl, I should have said the last season of What We Do in the Shadows, because I liked how that series wrapped up.
Yeah, but it wrapped up.
True, but at least it was strong. It was a strong wrap up. I enjoyed the fact that it's done, because the last thing you want is you see some of these TV series. It's just like season 14, season 24. Are you kidding me? Like, oh yeah, tell me about it. Fucking Grey's Anatomy. Like every so often, I dip in when Chris Christie still watches, and I'm like, how many people from the original show are still on here? And she counted out there's 3.
Yeah.
3 characters that are still on that show. And I'm like, how many employees have been killed by a helicopter? For which time? I'm like, exactly. You can only do the same thing so many times. But anyway, that's not my pan.
That off of ER.
Yeah, no shit. My pick is the second season for Castlevania Nocturne came out Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night. It's only like 8 episodes. They're 20, 25-minute episodes. I went through the entire thing the first night. I have not done that in forever, and on a work night, but I had to get through it. I really enjoyed this series. There's a reason why I really enjoyed the series. So the first season, I'm actually going back through the first one, just Castlevania, the animated one on Netflix. I really liked it. It gets a little weird later on, but then they kind of rope it back in together. And it's loosely based off what happens in Castlevania 3 on the original Nintendo. The second one is Castlevania Nocturne. It happens 300 years later, and it happens during the French Revolution. We pick up with Richter Belmont, and I thought the series was okay. I have been recently going back and redoing my Raspberry Pi 3, and I've been adding a bunch of games to it. I completely redid it, and so on and so forth. I actually have the thing sitting right here. Here's the new case I got for it for Christmas. Anyway, and I finally got to play. They originally came out with a Castlevania game that was in Japanese on the Mega Drive, the TurboGrafx 16 CD, called Castlevania Rondo of Blood. And that's where we're introduced to Richter Belmont. It is the first one in the Castlevania series where we have multiple branching ways to go through. Well, I guess technically that was the 3. Anyway, but we start getting story elements. You start like being able to unlock additional areas and stuff like that. And I finally got to play it. I have never played it. The English version that came out on the Super Nintendo, and it was called Castlevania Dracula X. And everyone says, it's pretty much the same game. It is not. It is not. It is a completely different game. This game is so much better. But going through that game and now watching the second season of Castlevania, I got so much more out of it. Like there were times I'm just like, are they? Oh, that's what they did. They pulled that. And I liked it a lot. I really, really enjoyed it. It is not an anime. It is very anime-like, though. So if you like anime, you will love it. If you're not really big into anime, you would still like it, especially if you played the old Castlevania games. But yeah, I really, really liked it. It wrapped up really well. I could see them doing a season 3, but if they decide not to, it would be perfectly fine. I would actually almost prefer them to do another Castlevania series and pick another Belmont from one of the other games and go from there. So that is my pick. My pan is, unfortunately, I will be back after it again this week. My boys have dropped multiple Xbox controllers and caused stick drift on said controllers. My understanding is, from all the reading I was doing, is the PlayStation is just as bad. In fact, the Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch are bad about it as well. Those at least are fairly easy to change out. Well, I was like, well, I'm a hardware guy. Let me see if I can look into this. Well, for 4 sticks, it's $20. That's not too bad. So $5 a stick. To get it, send it off, a controller sent off to be repaired, you're looking at $80. That's the price of a new controller, $60 to $80. That's the price of a new controller. So I was like, I'm gonna look this up. I got a brand new desoldering gun for Christmas. Helped out a lot. But there are 65 steps to get the controller apart and get it apart, because when you take that stick off, just a single one, this is not both of them. This is just one of the joysticks. You literally have to tear it apart in order to get it apart enough that you can desolder it off the board. So I was like, all right, I bought 4 of them. I should be able to fix the 4 controllers that are having a problem. Here's one of them. So I managed to change this joystick, and it worked great. It was perfect. I had no problems with it. I was like, this is not too bad. So I did it on the first day. And then I was like, I went ahead and took Alex's extra controller that was having the same problem. Got it home. Hey, got it set up. Take it in. Go check it. Whatever. He comes back. Hey, Dad, it's still doing the same thing. No, there's no way. There's no way. It's still doing it. Yeah, it's still. I'm like, no, we calibrated and everything. So we go in there. We start calibrating it. He goes into a game. Sure enough, character keeps looking up. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I look down. I'm like, Alex, which stick do you use to look around? This one? That's the right one, you little motherfucker. I could have ripped his head off and kicked it out the front door. I was like, you told me the left one. And you know what his response was? Oh, oops.
Oh.
So anyway, I'm like, you are going to pay for the second joystick, and I'm going to fix it so that it's done, because the idea of having this broken controller sitting in my house that I could fix, I'm like, but you are going to pay for it. I fixed both joysticks on Nick's brand new controller, and he's like, Dad, I swear, I dropped it just once. I'm like, we don't have carpet anymore, dude. We have tile. Just once is all it takes.
Yeah.
So I changed it, and he's like, could you go ahead and do both of them? I'm like, fine. So I did both joysticks. And for whatever reason, he swears up and down he did not drop it. He literally came to me in tears the next day. He goes, Dad, now the other joystick is doing it. And I'm just like, I will check it. I had a harder time with that one. It could be a bad solder joint. It could be, out of the 4, one of them was just bad. I'm like, I'm not mad at you. Because he even told me, he's like, I will pay you to do this one and to fix the other one. I'm like, dude, okay, cool. We will take care of it. Just understand, I got a lot of work I got to get done this week. So it's probably going to be till next week. So anyway, that was the last week. So yeah, this coming week, I will probably be dissecting 3 controllers again to replace 4 joysticks. And but I will say, though, in doing this, I at least did the research. And what's funny is on these joysticks, when you have the case off and everything, when you move the joystick forward or back or side to side, when the case is not on there, it actually does that and sticks. And that is standard on all these Xbox controllers and all the PlayStation ones. On the upgraded sticks that you buy, when you do that, they always come back to 0. And I'm like, maybe that's why these supposedly don't get stick drift. Why is Microsoft and Sony not spending the extra probably 30, 50 cents to make these things? Well, I already know the answer, because they want you to keep buying controllers. But anyway, just infuriating. So anyway, I'm going to be fixing some more controllers. Who knows? If they keep doing this shit when I retire, maybe I do this as my second business and make a bunch of money. Because if I charge you $40 to fix a controller and it costs you $80 for a brand new one, that's a no-brainer.
I was going to say, I've got one I can ship down to you.
Yeah.
No, I don't need it anymore. Oh, you know what? I'm going to add one more little thing. I'm going to add one more little caveat, one more thing. So like I said, I've been working on this Raspberry Pi. If you upgrade an Xbox controller, this is a Series S controller, and I also have a 1S controller. You can connect them directly to the Raspberry Pi and use them for most of the emulators. But for some reason, like the Neo Geo emulator, this thing just does not like it, and I cannot figure out why. So I'm going to end up buying another wireless controller so I can use it and and be done with it. So, but yeah, so I'm not looking forward to tearing apart these controllers because it is a very long, involved, drawn out process. But you know, I'm cheap, so got to fix these damn controllers. So of course, Christy said something or another about. She goes, "Well, I don't understand why they all do that," and I'm just like, I've got 2 controllers and might have never done it. Of course, I've never dropped my controller either, but whatever. So I have 4 N64 controllers and the center joystick on them are all perfect. Don't talk to me about they always break. Anyway, that is it for our show this month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please follow us on. Well, I'm going to put out a couple things here. Number one, in the next day or so here, I am dropping us from the Epically Geeky from X. I'm dropping us from X. I don't know if we have a thread set up or not. I'll have to check it, but I'm dropping us from there as well. We never had a TikTok. I've gone through, I've looked at the interactions. There's just no interactions there. It's not worth my time. It's not worth having the account out there to possibly get hacked just to be sitting out there. So the official ways, if you wanted to get to reach us through social media, comment on YouTube videos. That's fine. I will see it there. If you want to do that, you can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram. But in all honesty, if you really want to get a hold of us, email us, epicallygeekysite@gmail.com. Go to the website. There's plenty of links there. Find me on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. Well, actually, I'm getting rid of my Twitter as well. But anyway, there's ways you can get a hold of us. And then, of course, if you want to actually, follow the show and see when it's coming out, subscribe. Any one of the pretty much you can find us at any place that you can listen to podcasts. You can subscribe to us on YouTube as well. And so you'll always get the new episodes that way as well. I will say this, though, specifically this show, the audio version of this show has a cold open at the beginning of it, usually 30 seconds to a minute, that is not on the video version. So if you've only ever watched this show on YouTube, you're missing out a little bit by not listening to the audio version. So go subscribe to it on, well, Google Music doesn't even do it anymore. I was going to say iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or whatever it is you want to do. You can find us out there. So where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram.
Chris?
Moody Midlife on Instagram.
Joseph?
Morjo7 on Blue Sky.
Oh, nice. Sean?
Your favorite broken toy spelled the Canadian way on Instagram and TikTok.
And you can always find my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Machine on Facebook and Instagram. For everyone on the site, have a good night.